All right, welcome in. As all the thousands and thousands of viewers are piling their way in here, this is another edition of your favorite video podcast, Two Dads United, UNITED, and we have a special guest in the house today. As usual, Stu Holden here, Steve Nash, and this is Charlie Davies.
Fucking broadcaster, huh?
Yeah, nice and loud.
You're dropping F-bombs already. We're only a minute in. And yeah, this is Charlie Davies, a former teammate of mine. We'll give a quick recap on Charlie.
Where'd you grow up?
Manchester, New Hampshire.
Manchester, BC?
Went to Boston College, then to Sweden, then to France.
Played at Rennes?
Sochaux.
And then you went somewhere else after your injury?
DC United for a year.
Did you go back to a club? Or you went back to Sochaux?
Then I went back to Sochaux, then I went to Denmark, and then back to New England Revolution.
New England. Made the finals with New England?
Yep. MLS Cup, we lost to Galaxy, which was Landon.
I was watching you
play.
play.
We were at the game together.
Yeah, we were. It was
with
right.
Mateo.
Yeah.
With my son.
And Phil Dunphy from Modern Family.
Phil Dunphy, what a legend he is.
I have tried to get Phil Dunphy to play in kicking for Houston.
Yeah.
He's bitten me so far, but he did give a maybe, actually. Phil, if you're watching Two Dads United, come
Why
play.
wouldn't he be watching?
Yeah.
So wait a minute, though. That was 2014?
Yes.
Final? Okay. And then Philly last year.
Yep.
And how many national team caps?
19.
19.
Or 17. 17.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive career considering you had a near fatal car accident.
Yeah.
Like, before we get into the accident, and I hate to jump right into like the whole thing, but I'm always interested in what's your perspective on your career with and without the accident. Like,
I think I talked to you a bit about that.
like it's got to be big picture for you now, right?
Yeah, like when I look.
Like when you get away from the big picture, what do you look at your career? It was like on an arc like this, and you had the accident.
So I think it was like throughout, let's say U20 national team, I didn't make the World Cup team, so it kind of took a little bit of a hit emotionally, and then made the Milk Cup team.
The Milk Cup in Ireland.
Ireland, MVP, Golden Boot, winner there. Went back to college for another year. Then I was like, okay, I'm ready for the next step. Went to Sweden, started the first 4 games, felt the pressure, couldn't score no matter what, and had to ride the pine for the whole season. But I'd come in as a substitute every single game.
Can I ask what that felt like? You basically just were in your head.
I was in my head. I would get crosses, tap-ins, couldn't even put it on goal, or I'd hit it straight at the keeper.
You had that a lot though when you were younger. I remember when you first started the U20s, before that, everybody knew physical attributes you had. Everybody knew your hold-up play, your smart runs, your pace, but it was always your finishing that was a little inconsistent, right? When did you see that shift? Because I do remember, because you became a much better goal scorer in and around the box, clinical. What was the kind of that shift for you? Speaking of, was it a confidence issue for you? You think early?
I'm not too sure exactly if I could put my finger on it. I think it would be I just wasn't sharp enough. I don't think I trained well enough in and around the box. I thought what was more important was being able to create chances, not only for myself but for teammates. Being able to be that guy that could, make a run, open up the defenses, stretch defenses. Being able to do those step overs, have a little bit of swag and charisma and flair on the field. I thought that was always more important until I think when I went to Sweden and I felt this pressure to be this kid that comes in from America and I want to play in England and I got to score right away. I got to score, and it became like
you realize step overs don't mean shit here. All that matters
it doesn't mean anything.
Let's try a Premier League.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that you had to train 100% every single day.
You were young, and you were like, I'll be ready to go on Saturday. And then you realize, though, the more effort you give, the more reps that you compete in training, transfer to the game, and that switch sometime.
Yes. Essentially, the captain pulled me aside after
in Sweden,
Danish guy, Mikkel Jensen, pulled me aside. He said, "Look, you have all the tools. That's not a question, but you're wasting so much of your talent because there's no finished product with you as far as goals. So I want you, after every practice, to take 40, 50 balls and just within the 6, on the corner of 6, and just bang them into the corner. And I did it every single day. And then next thing I know, I score a hat trick at the end of the season. In Sweden, my last game of the year, scored a hat trick, and then. And
what happened? You went to France?
You played another year, right?
Another year, yeah. I scored 17 goals that year, and.
Did you Did you really make Mikhail? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Did you let him know how much you appreciated it? Did he help you? Or?
Yeah. I mean, at the time, I just said, I was just a young, immature kid, and. He left the following season, but he came back to visit, and I said, you made the difference for me, because he's like, hey, what, you're on? I said, yeah, well, you helped. Nice. And then I think at that point, when I say meteoric rise, it was literally.
Where did you go the next year after the 17 goals?
So then we had the Olympics that following year, China, and. Peter Novak just didn't want to give me the chance. I understand he brought Brian McBride as one of the 3 older age players.
For context, there we had on the bench in our final game in the group, actually the whole way, was Josie and Charlie both on the bench. Brian McBride and Josie Altidore both started. And Freddie Adu started the games.
Wow.
So it comes down to the final group game. We play Nigeria. Charlie's on the bench again. Comes off the bench. We're down a man for 85 minutes. Orozco's red carded. Charlie's thrown on last 15 to go and get something. 89th minute. All we needed was a tie. We're down 1-0. Charlie, glancing header, cannons off the crossbar, bounces down, and is cleared out. This close to advancing to the next round, and he came on in that game. I think you have a little bit of a bitter taste about the Olympics, right?
Just because like I said, McBride and Freddie were the guys. For me, it was tough to take because I felt like, man, I'm doing so well in Sweden. I'm performing, and our team had a lot of speed, and I don't think we utilized it. The talent on that team, I don't think.
But I think sometimes the failures, the obstacles, are what make you
right.
So how did that propel you, that experience?
Well, the little taste I got, the 15 minutes, I thought I did as much as I could without scoring. And I used that to be like, I'm ready for that next step, keep going. And then I got a taste when I got called up for the Confederations Cup. And
was that a career high for you?
Yeah.
When you look back, career moment? So U.S. goes to Confederations Cup. Incredibly low expectations. Spain's number one, not low expectations, but Spain's number 1 in the world. Haven't lost in 40-something games.
2 years.
South Africa.
In South Africa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had this amazing comeback against Egypt. Is that right? In the last game of the group.
Yeah.
To qualify for the next round, sets up a semifinal against Spain.
Which we had to
score. No.
Yeah.
You scored.
No, I didn't.
He
score.
set it up. He wrestled the goalie, right?
I watched the game.
Well, that was Egypt. Yeah. So
that was the Egypt game.
The Egypt game, we go into that, and this I think. So I came in as a substitute against Italy the first game.
Kobe's back, by the way.
Yeah.
Kobe. Say hi to Kobe.
Mamba.
Yeah, Mamba.
Black Mamba.
Yeah.
So I just thought I came in against Italy, and there was a corner kick. Landon took it, came right to my head, and all I could think was, if I score on Gigi Buffon, I can retire today. Skied that thing over. So for me, I said, okay, maybe I let the moment, get the best of me. Didn't play the next game against Brazil. We got crushed. But the following day, we had training, and it was for most of the guys who didn't play, didn't get a lot of minutes. And I want to say this was the best training of my life.
Yeah.
And
not saying much, is it?
I don't know, you tell me. We played small side, probably scored 8 goals. It was something ridiculous. And the next day, he's like, we're going to name a starting lineup. There's only going to be 2 changes. Brad Guzan, you're going in as keeper, and Charlie. And I was like, did he just call my name? Started with Josie up top, and then it was just like this pairing, and we had chemistry right off the bat. And what was our chances of really making it to the next round, to the semifinals. We had to win by 3 goals, and Egypt is a very good team. I was able to score an early goal, and it was just like, we can do this. And second half, bop, bop, sure enough, we win 3-0, and we're off to play against Spain. And the game was on my birthday, and I thought, hey.
Took a nice thumping on your birthday.
Yeah. You know what?
Get to the bar early.
Yeah.
Let's just, let's go out there. We had Bob Riley had an unbelievable game plan. We just stayed compact, and really, me and Josie, our job was just to surround Xavi and just
defend him.
For me, probably the best player I've ever stepped on the field with, for sure.
Xavi?
Yeah, just because of his movement, his thought process. No matter what I did to try and take the ball from one time, and that was like my goal. Just steal from one time. No chance.
You just felt always off balance.
No matter I know I was so much faster than him, stronger than him, whatever it was, he would always turn the right way. He'd always take the right touch. He'd always, give me a little shimmy or
beautiful thing,
what.
huh?
It is. Yeah.
And it was just
so
like
effortlessly. It feels like.
just
I remember,
effortlessly.
Owen Hargreaves, who was an athletic guy, saying that like when he played Sudan, he's like, I know, like, if we had a kickboxing match, you know what I mean, or a wrestling match, I could beat this guy. I was like, I can't get near him. Like everything I try, like it's like a force field, like it's like a black belt, like a martial artist.
I always say that the subtleties of that type of movement, some stuff you can't teach like that. You tell a kid when you're getting the ball to your feet, have a look over your shoulder, know your surroundings, but just a feel for the game, to be able to glide into pockets, to be able to know how to take that touch just a little bit, the pressure to push it past the defender as opposed to taking it in tight. It really, the one I remember playing against was in Amsterdam against Holland Schneider. Same thing. Just with 2 circles around me like this. I'm trying to just get close and get a touch on the ball, but then throw you one of these before you even got the ball. He's 5 yards the other way, picking it up in space. What they do
is they when they realize they've created a yard of space, they then use your recovery
to get by you.
Yeah. So as you realize, I got to get tight. So
what was the equivalent of that for you in basketball? Because I feel you've said a lot of in our last podcast. You said playing soccer growing up allowed you some of the little technical things, passing lanes, angles.
I think for me, I played soccer, from the time I was a baby to the time I started playing basketball at 13. I think, like, for me, it was always interesting because, like, I felt like it was cheating that I could use my hands, right? Because I always was, like, kind of a creative midfielder and tried to bend balls and chip balls and ping balls into gaps, and you don't use both inside, outside of your feet, and use everything to get the ball where you need it to go.
No, like right? Kobe's always trying to steal your.
I think he wants to get on the show again. Jeez. But then when you can start using your hands, you know what I mean? I was like, this is too easy. So I think the angles, because in soccer it's like a little trickier. You're using your feet. You're using your feet.
But you were so good at the pick and roll, though, especially in Phoenix. Was that kind of?
That was just like
was that kind of to free yourself up so you could do that to get space?
The pick and roll took longer, but I think just the ability to draw and kick and to run a fast break from soccer, it really just timing, angles, watching gaps, open and close. I had that all kind of dialed in from soccer and hockey, to be honest. And so but the pick and roll was something in the NBA, because you're talking about athletes. Like what the Q, one of my close friends, who's assistant coach for the Warriors, he calls the NBA Jurassic Park. Like, it's just, guys are so long and athletic that the space is just gone before you know it. Same as the Premier League or whatever, right? And so, anyways, we could talk all night about the NBA and all that stuff, but I think it's fascinating to see some of these guys that just can always keep you off balance with just like the turn. Busquets is like that too. He's not a Xavi.
I know. I
like
watched Busquets and I think I could do that. You can't.
Do you know what he does a lot? You know what he does in his off season too? Is tons of futsal.
Really?
Yeah. And if you notice, it's always it's just so simple.
But right? He makes it look simple, right?
Stands on
it.
Yeah.
He stands on it. He waits. You pick a side, turn this way. You get like a dog to recover. He turns back. You know what I mean?
And if you do have the advantage of getting the ball, he knows how to. Yeah. You have to follow him to get it.
Right. He's going to keep his hips and his foot in there so that you could.
You got it.
But you know the famous one, and I love this. I've thrown this shout out a few times. You say, well, Bayern Munich against Cologne or Barca against Getafe. You say, I could get a game in for Barca and right now and not look out of place because You have the ball all the time. You can play 5-10 passes. You might not have an impact, but you're not going to look.
Right.
A guy like De La Feo signs from Everton, which was a strange signing to begin with, right?
Yeah.
And he is getting hammered because he just doesn't have that next level, to take a guy and make that last pass. Or he's getting in good spots, and he doesn't make it look effortless. Right. It looks like he's really having to strain himself.
And actually, he's one of those guys that has it all.
Yeah.
Right? But can he make the connection here to here, right?
Yeah.
And that's like what you went through early, right? And then you turned the corner, right? And you started to finish and hold the ball up and make yourself well-rounded. Anyways, it's so much of sport is mental. And when someone marries the mental, like a Xavi, a Busquets, a Zidane, I'm not trying to put Busquets in that category, but he's a fantastic player.
Yeah.
When they marry the mental with the innate, with the experience, you know what I mean? Like, it's a beautiful thing that happens.
Another guy like that is Riquelme.
Riquelme.
Oh.
And,
the game's going in slow motion.
I remember sitting on the bench, Copa America 2007. I see Messi come. You see Messi, you see Mascherano, you see these guys come out. You say, "Oh, this team is as real as it gets." And you see Riquelme, he's a pretty big guy, but he doesn't play like a big guy. He's just floating around the field, and every touch he rolls the ball, and you're like, "Well, that's not going to work."
That's not even just too slow.
Rolls it through, gets it back, rolls it through, gets it back, plays it, then plays the killer ball, goal, and you're watching this guy like.
How are you doing this?
Man.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what?
You're not faster than me. You're not quicker than me. You're not stronger than me. No. But I can't do that.
No. We touched on the mental side of the game a little bit. I want to transition back to Charlie, and we're talking about Charlie's meteoric rise throughout U.S. soccer, through European soccer. That Mexico game we played in, I think, was one that was almost your coming out party after Confederations Cup. We played away at Mexico, 15 minutes in or something. Charlie breaks away, scores. We're 1-0 up at Azteca. Place is going nuts. Phenomenal goal. Shortly after that, a couple months later, Charlie has this car accident.
But he was on a rise with the national team, not just in your club career. You were the guy. You had scored like a bunch of goals in succession, qualifying and friendlies and everything with the national team. You were going like this. You'd turn that corner from being like, we've always known this kid was athletic, but now he's finishing, he's linking up, he's holding the ball to that level.
I felt like I could slow the game down, and I could see the game.
Ultimate confidence.
When you're in that, nirvana where no matter what, you're gonna be able to do what you want.
Create something.
Yes.
I'm gonna get my chances. I'm gonna be a handful.
Yes.
And things were changing, and it was going like this.
Too fast, for me at the time, and
so you think that played a part in the accident?
1,000%.
So your success made you happy. You were celebrating it too soon.
Too soon. I couldn't put things into perspective because things were happening too fast for me to even stop and think.
Too much fun.
Too much fun, too much glory. It felt like bright lights. Everything was just
the money.
Boom, boom. My first home game in France, we were playing the league champions Bordeaux, and this was the week after the Mexico game. And I'm like, whoa, okay, this is Gourcuff, and this guy's a huge French player. And
at the time, they were saying he was the next Zidane.
Right, and you have Chamak, and he was going to Arsenal the following year. But this is the league champs. And I came in at half and I scored 2, bop, and I said, and then my teammates looked at me like, oh, this kid's going. They'd always be like, before I came, I think they were like, oh, American,
Yeah.
And I remember my first training session. We were in Switzerland, and I didn't have my boots, so I had to wear studs, some random Nike studs, and they weren't broken in. The fields were hard as hell. I'm like, this isn't gonna be good, but let me go out there and do my thing. We're playing small-sided. I get a ball played to me on the wing, 1v1 with this kid, and he was a kid that was just breaking into the team, defender. I think he was well-respected, well-liked, and he comes at me, and I just hit him with a step over, bomb by him, and bang it bottom left. And everyone stopped and went, oi, 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 oi.
So
and I said, okay, now I earned that respect.
Where was that this morning?
This morning.
We got thumped this morning.
Yeah. I wasn't sure which team you were on.
Neither was I. It was just everything was happening so fast. All goals, success. I had teammates talking to me about their agents asking about me. Hey, Prem clubs are looking at you. The Evertons, the Fulhams, the Aston Villas, and I'm thinking, after this World Cup, the World Cup's coming. This is going to be my real coming out party to the world.
And this was South Africa?
Yes.
Of course, South Africa,
so it was coming up, and I remember before that Spain game.
You were on fire. You did so well in the Confederations Cup, which was the summer before.
Yeah.
Went to France, did well. National team career's going like this.
And we go down to Honduras, qualify for the World Cup.
So that was kind of like everything's happening so fast. We go to Honduras. They tell us it's one of the hardest places to play. The crowd was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I put one of the best crosses I put in my life.
This is back to back.
0-0.
Mexico game and this game.
Absolute beauty on the break. I mean, couldn't be more on a platter for this guy. 6 yards out, free header in
I
the
wouldn't
box.
say 6.
8 yards out. Drops on his head.
Let's say 7. Done.
All right,
Heads
10,
it
done.
at the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper saves it. Comes right back to him, and he blasts it over the crossbar.
Hit it with the side volley. And, you're like, oh, the keeper's down. I'm just gonna.
So that was his that's my moment to pile on him.
Yeah.
Fast forward, game is 2-2. All we had to do was, I think, tie to qualify for the World Cup, or maybe it was win.
No, win.
Win. Okay, so it's 2-2. Defending a free kick. I'm at the back post. Free kick comes in, bounces up, hits my hand through a crowd. Couldn't see it. Handball. Penalty for Honduras.
We're winning 3-2 at this point.
Oh yeah, you're right. We're winning 3-2. So we just had to hold on to the win to qualify for the World Cup. Pavon
You did handball. I mean,
oh yeah, it was a handball.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
Pavon steps up, blasts it over the crossbar.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
and we get out with the win.
I've never felt such a sense of relief in my life because I just broke it into the team too.
Yeah.
I just been starting every game. Plane ride back from Honduras, one of the best plane rides I've ever been on. Champagne, booze.
The stuff that you dream of, like you win an NBA title, or you have like the champagne in the locker room.
To qualify for the World Cup in Honduras, it doesn't sound glamorous. It's not Brazil, but it's tricky.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Very.
It's spiteful down there, right? Like they're gonna make it as painful.
Right, they had a tough time in Honduras and Trinidad this time.
Did they?
Too soon.
Too soon.
Oh.
Too soon.
Okay.
So how long after this was the accident? Until
2 days. 2 days later. We were roommates.
Oh, so you went back to DC.
Yeah, we flew after the game directly back to DC.
And why were you still there? In another game?
So we had a game against Costa Rica, which was a formality.
Yeah.
However, it was important if we wanted to win the group,
right.
which is.
So there's a bit of a difference here. So Charlie in that Honduras game had kind of tweaked her groin. So Bob had said to him, "You're not going to play on Wednesday." For me, I was at the end of my MLS contract. I had 5 Premier League teams watching me playing that game in Costa Rica. So I was like,
who were you with
still
at the time?
What's that? I was still with Houston, but so I had Sunderland, West Ham, Blackburn, Bolton, and I think Celtic were watching me playing that game. So I knew I was still needed to be dialed in because this was a big performance for me. Whereas Charlie was like, okay, I'm done. I'm going home at the end of this. We're going to enjoy Wednesday.
And we were playing Lyon on the weekend.
And for people that don't understand, when you play in Europe, it's nice to be home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You kind of want to make the most of it a little bit and have fun and soak up some of that success and enjoyment, if not just visit with family and friends.
So we go for dinner Monday night with some friends. We're watching Monday Night Football. And then that was the night of the accident, which is it's crazy to think about.